This is Crawford and Schick at the movies, and today we'll be reviewing Maleficent.
That's not the title, you asshole.
It's the new title, I changed it.
If we have an opening now, we get the tickets and stuff in the class. It's a, oh, popcorn! No, I love the opening with Siskel and Ebert where they're just fucking around and they just meet at the theater.
And then, they're behind the counter. Would you two like butter?
No, they're so, and Ebert's got candy and stuff. It's like, I'm fat,
Yeah,
I'm Ebert.
He's watching the movie having a stroke.
And Gene Siskel's just like dead.
It's a skeleton. It's like a Goosebumps opening or something.
So welcome to Last Call Reviews, and yeah, Todd and Randy. But yes, we are reviewing Melissa shit.
Yeah, that much was true.
Yeah, there was one true statement in that.
Well, actually, we were not necessarily reviewing it. We're here to bitch about it.
Yeah, we're to kick it in the fucking cunt. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
Punt the cunt. This is Angelina Jolie's
first movie performance
ever.
Yes, her debut.
Yeah, it's, she's 22 years old. It's very impressive. She looks 40. But
as far as a first nude scene, it went over very well.
Yes, when she turned into a dragon and she had those giant breasts, it really did get on fire.
You know what I'd like to see in the movie?
What?
Her turn into a dragon, like the original movie.
Shut up, okay.
Instead, she turns this like
don't spoil
model
it. Don't spoil it. It's at the end. I know it's stupid. I don't want to have to cut it.
I don't want people to like walk in and be disappointed.
This movie's shitty. Let's get that out of the way first, okay? But just some background. This is the adaptation of Sleeping Beauty, kind of, from Melissa.
This is the subversion of Sleeping Beauty.
From Maleficent's point of view, starring Angelina Jolie as Maleficent. And like I was saying, she hasn't been in a big movie in a few years. And
Beowulf? Was that? Oh, Saul.
Wanted to. She was in a couple.
Yeah, I think Saul was Saul the last one though.
Yeah, around that time. I'm not. But obviously, she's like I guess biggest movie actress in the world. Really, she's got to be top. You know, she's Angelina Jolie. But yeah, you heard about this for a while. Disney's doing these fairy tale adaptations. They've done Alice in Wonderland. They're doing Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast. Has been
they've been working with Hot Topic for a long time to market these movies.
And you know, Frozen just blew up huge. You know, it's the biggest animated film ever. So they're really hot in this princess thing right now. Fairy tales.
Very postmodern. You don't need a man.
This is directed by the guy who did the set decoration on Alice in Wonderland and Oz the Great and Powerful, a Tim Burton and Raimi film, both that we found very disappointing, to bad, really. I think Alice in Wonderland's bad. I think Oz is mediocre. And for a Raimi film, it's bad. It's one of Raimi's worst films. Definitely a step down after Drag Me to Hell. The hope with this was that...
Drag Me to Oz.
Yeah. Oh, actually, that'd been awesome at the end of Shakespeare. He gets sucked into Chris like Emerald singing. Yeah. I am Oz!
Great and powerful.
Yeah. Yo, what's up? Why are you suspicious? I'm the Wiz! I thought we'd be friends, Dorothy. But anyway, this had a lot of people excited. Had a huge fucking opening weekend. Everyone's like, man, Angelina, she looks just like Maleficent.
And also the concept's a lot stronger than either of the two movies. I think Alice in Wonderland has really not much of a concept at all. It's just Alice in Wonderland.
There's not a plot. It's just Alice goes to Wonderland.
I think Oz, the Great Power, is much more of a plot, but it's much... I don't think the hook's is great.
No.
He goes to Oz and he cons people. It's this comedic sort of thing that they never fully commit to.
It's pretty much an Army of Darkness remake.
Yeah, it is.
It's just not as good.
But this film has a very strong premise where we're going to take Maleficent, the villainess from Sleeping Beauty, and then make her the protagonist.
Yes.
And we're going to show how, or why, more like, she does the things that she does in that film, and reinterpret that for the modern audiences.
Now, before we start ranting, I do want to say the good things first, just to get out of the way, because there's a lot to say. The production value, acting...
You could tell that it was directed by a set designer for good and bad.
Yes.
The good on that, though, is that it's a very good-looking movie for the most part.
Yes. There's some CGI here and there.
Some of the creatures are... very Alice in Wonderland looking, I guess.
Even worse, some of them look like they're just straight from like Nickelodeon cartoons or something.
Yeah, there's that one movie. It wasn't The Bridge to Terabithia, but it was the other one.
Spider-Rick Chronicles.
Spider-Rick Chronicles. We kept talking about that when we watched it.
Yeah, it feels out of place, but
what it gets right is really good looking.
No, we noticed that Fantasia homage.
Like, that was really clever.
There's stuff like that, like
and the cake.
Yes.
When the fairy godmothers drop it, the cake they have that little musical scene with in the original movie.
Yeah, there's all kinds of bad special effects, like the fairy godmothers when they get tiny.
Yeah.
But really, like, for the most part, whenever there's swooping shots or sets, or really the photography and sets stand out in costumes.
Surprisingly enough, it's a much better looking movie than its predecessors.
Yeah, no, and makeup too, and all that.
Coming from a no-name director compared to these two visual auteurs, people call them, it's just really strange.
Angelina Jolie's performance, solid. What you want. Ella Fanning cast as Sleeping Beauty, perfect casting.
Unfortunately, she's not getting much to do, but she is very charming in the role.
No, she adds a lot that wouldn't be there if it was another
agree,
actress.
yeah.
Sharlto Copley gives the weirdest voice accent I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's a South African meets British meets some bullshit. I don't know what the fuck he's saying.
Yo, Sleeping Beauty, what's up?
No, I love it. He's like, yo, Sleeping Beauty, we together. It's like, what the fuck is this guy? I love Sharlto Copley, like his facial acting's good.
I'll fucking kill you, motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck you. No, he's Kruger from Elysium. He's chasing Maleficent.
Yeah.
You fuck with me, you fuck with the best.
She blows his face.
Yeah, she blows off his face. Actually, I've been pretty badass. She turned into a dragon.
Unfortunately, Maleficent does nothing bad in the movie, on the contrary to what everybody wanted and expected to see.
So, here's the problem. Here's where it starts. This starts really semi-charming, I guess.
Yeah.
She's flying around as a little girl.
I actually really like the little girl actress for as little
too.
she had. It was very TV, sci-fi acting, but in a good way. I don't know how to put it.
It's nice to see kids in a movie playing something like that.
Yeah, and I don't know how they did the design of her. I thought it was really cool.
The thing, where when it starts to go bad is, they make Maleficent the good guy in this, or the good woman, I should say.
I would even go before that becomes a key factor in terms of the downfall of the movie, is that the opening scenes with her, the child actress.
Yeah.
You quickly realize that that's not just the prologue, so much as the whole movie is just skimming over these scenes. There's almost no focus or consistency to the plot or tone.
Before we get into my main problem with the movie, which I'm going to save last, which is its message, there was said that 38 minutes was
40 minutes were cut.
Yeah, roughly 40 minutes was cut. You can tell this film is a goddamn mess.
I mean, it's even worse than Amazing Spider-Man 2.
No, it is. This is put together like scene, no context, scene, no context, scene. There's no story, there's no narrative. There's just scenes.
Plot points. It's literally an outline on
You can
screen.
get what's happening, but it's just plot points.
It's only because you know film.
Yes, it's not telling a story. In fact, after about a halfway point, it just starts ripping off Sleeping Beauty, just scenes.
I felt like, you know when you ask somebody how a movie was and they just tell you the whole plot?
Yeah,
That's what I felt the director was doing. It's like, well, Maleficent's a kid, and then she falls in love, and then I don't know.
No, I could like
Sleeping Beauty.
Like this movie is a visualized plot summary.
Yeah, exactly, it's
like
a visual Wikipedia article.
No, Wikipedia article has more detail. This is this is like
longer to read. Than
this is a horribly edited and incoherent film. This is really bad. Like for this to be a mainstream Hollywood movie. It is mind-boggling. It's the first
film I've seen in at least a year that really could have benefited from being half an hour longer.
No, all we ever say is like, God, I wish I'd cut this shit.
Just 10 minutes less.
Like Amazing Spider-Man 2, it's like, if this was like a half hour less, this might be okay, but this movie
needed it. It really could have benefited, because it has some scenes that I think are, I wouldn't say perfect, but almost exactly what you want. When she first curses Sleeping Beauty, which really is a spoiler, it's everything you want to see. And if that was the opening to the film, or her introduction...
The problem is actually that what you find out is Maleficent being the protagonist weakens the character, because the more you know about her, so when she shows up and she is like, you know, evil and has presence, you know who she really is.
Her motivations makes it shitty.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It feels wrong. Like it doesn't feel right, because who she is before and what happens to her within the narrative and why she becomes the way she is, I don't think it's just no, it's not justified. She's kind of just a bitch.
Yeah.
And you could argue like, oh no, she's not sure. It's like, no, what she did is fucked up. And yeah, she knows she's wrong later, but they don't ever like address it. She never gets complex. She's just good because she's basically because she can be, because the movie needs her to be a good person.
Yeah, and that's really one of the two principal flaws with the movie, and they should have made a decision.
Yes.
We're going to remake Sleeping Beauty, and I think that actually could have been a really good idea.
I did it before, but after seeing it, yeah.
Yeah, I see how they could have made that really interesting and fun.
No, especially hiring a guy...
Not that it needs remade.
No.
But it could have been a solid...
Well, seeing it live action.
Yeah, exactly.
And you could have fleshed things out, more characters.
Or, if they didn't do that, I think they should have committed to making Maleficent.
No, yeah.
She really isn't the same character. It's not what you want to see.
This is a bastardization of a character if I've ever seen one.
It's a humanization of one.
Yeah, yeah.
But in it's like a bastard humanization.
Yeah, no, it's basically like, this is to me is the equivalent of Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Where, you know, you ruin the character and the mythos and how dark they are and the sinisterness of it. Really what makes them great. Yeah. Maleficent is a good person, all happy with the girls. That's not Maleficent. That's any generic character in any fairy tale film. That's nothing complex or new. And they don't do anything new with her.
You could probably argue the original film was more one note than this character, who does have emotions or variety, but it's not particularly interesting.
And also a live action film today, you know, is harder to compare to a very old
also in the old animated film, she's 5-10 minutes.
Yes.
And in every one of those 5-10 minutes you see her, you're captivated by
it's
her
memorable.
presence.
She's more iconic in those scenes than she is in any scene in this movie. And this is the longer movie. But yeah, that 40 minutes of cut footage, that would make it roughly about an hour and 30-something minutes. And if it was that, I think this probably could have been okay. Mm-hmm. But as it stands now at about 100 minutes, it's pretty. This is the worst movie I've seen in theaters this year.
Yeah.
You know, this is bar none the worst. This is worse than Spider-Man 2, and I mean, it's shocking. I really thought
it's also probably the most disappointing for me, and I didn't expect it to be, because I don't care about that as much as Godzilla or Spider-Man.
No, it had to build you up, Buttercup.
But watching the film, I really understood why it was so disappointing to me and how much I actually do care about the character.
No, and how much you wanted to see a good movie with this setup.
Yeah, you don't realize how great it could have been until you're watching it and seeing how much it fails to be that.
So basically, just to be very quick with what the plot is, Maleficent meets this boy at the beginning, and then they jump years, and she fights off a king's army, and the king's son is the boy from the beginning, and then they still have a romance, and he's going to kill Maleficent. He decides not to.
He does cut off her wings and present it to the father to give the illusion that he killed her.
Yes, so then he becomes the king. Maleficent wakes up sad about this, and then basically Sleeping Beauty starts at this point. We jump ahead and we get into that. With things changed. The biggest change now being that the prince character now growing up as the king, whose daughter is Sleeping Beauty, is now the villain, a very one-dimensional villain too, that does not get developed into a villain.
Possibly even a bigger difference. I mean, that is a difference in the conflict of the film, which is very principle and structure.
Yeah, it's completely flipped.
But the character relationship between Sleeping Beauty and Maleficent is completely changed.
It's friends. It's.
Well, I don't know if I call them Joey and Chandler, but they're very chum-like with each other.
No, they had that dog statue thing, and they
they do.
But so. She shows up and puts a curse on Sleeping Beauty to get revenge on her man who fucked her over years ago because she can't get over her wings getting cut off. So she's going to curse this baby. To basically, the theme here, we won't get into it so much yet, is to protect the child from him, is what the movie's alluding to.
A key plot point in the theme that we're going to begin discussing in a little bit is that the curse can only be broken on Cinderella if or Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, fuck it, might as well, yeah.
Frozen can only be uncursed if she's kissed with true love. Not by her one true love, I guess.
No, just true love.
A true love kiss.
Yeah.
True love's kiss.
So I guess if her dog loved her and it licked her, that would wake her back up. So she puts it on her right, so... Then the king sends Sleeping Beauty off to live with the fairy godmother, and they watch her, and Maleficent's watching in the background. They become friends, and one big thing we forgot to mention: the crow from the original film. In this, it's a man that Maleficent kind of just randomly meets out of the fuck nowhere.
Yeah, and she turns him into and it's unfortunate because the crow scenes where he is in the crow shape.
No, it's kind of sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, as her familiar, it's really interesting and cool. But whenever he's human and talking with her, and he's kind of like,
he is so bland.
Hey, check out that Sleeping Beauty, eh?
No, he's got like long black hair.
It's
like
very much Orlando Bloom in Pirates.
He's like a girl's fetishized version of what like a man would be in this kind of movie too. It's it's kind of sexist in that way because it's like girl porn, where it's like he's not really a character; he's just there for girl porn.
Yeah, he serves no purpose in the story other than. Maybe to give Maleficent a character to feed off of with dialogue, so there's some talking in the movie.
There's just not a dynamic that's built up enough that the movie's too quick. Like you said, it's only 100 minutes.
Yeah.
There's so much plot and character in this movie that in 100 minutes you can't get it all.
The movie's doing so much that it accomplishes nothing in its runtime.
It's confusing in the way that it doesn't feel like a story's being told.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that, Maleficent, she becomes friends with Sleeping Beauty. She has this crow who is quite fond of Sleeping Beauty from afar, and then Sleeping Beauty meets the Prince boy from the old animated film, and
she meets a member of One Direction.
Yeah,
he's a prince in this movie,
and they just talk, and then I guess everybody assumes then that that's true love's kiss.
Yeah, I don't even remember what they talked about. They have this awkward scene in a radio show.
This movie's basically trying to this is where it's trying to be clever, and I give them credit for trying to. They just fail miserably. They're trying to set you up with the typical fairy tale scenario throughout the film.
They're trying to be clever by plagiarizing Frozen.
I know. And every time you get into that fairy tale scenario, they're trying to twist it and play it to your expectations.
Because we know what to expect today.
Like Frozen.
We grew up on
like
it.
Frozen did with the two characters, and it wasn't about like a handsome prince coming in to save the day. That was actually a twist. It wasn't about falling in love instantly. It wasn't about
it's about the love of family or sisterhood and loving yourself.
Yes, it was really about individualism, that you have to learn who you are first before you can be happy with someone else and build a solid life. This film doesn't accomplish that at all, even though it's trying to. It's too immature for one matter, and it's too cheap in its emotions to ever earn anything.
Yeah,
as well. It's very childlike.
You know what it reminded me of? I don't know if I'm sure that you were on these kind of websites when you were a kid. Like fanfiction.org.
Yeah.
Or dark poetry.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me. Like it was written on one of those websites.
Vampirefreaks.com.
I still have friends who go on.
Yeah,
there.
of course.
Of course I do.
No, there's always the hot girls to check out when you're 15 on Vampire.
I wonder what Ashley's on.
Yeah. Ooh.
I'll read your poetry.
Okay, here's the thing. We were going to keep going on about the movie, but we're just going to rate it now. And if you don't want to listen past this point for spoilers, don't, because we have to rant about the major theme in this movie.
And there are a lot of spoilers involved in that.
And I'll just tell you now to know if you want to listen or not. It's a pro-feminism message, and I know that sounds bad, like we're haters of feminism.
But we're both big fans of feminist movies and storytelling.
Yeah, and we're both very liberal. I want that to be said too. We are not anti-woman or woman message.
We own 2 copies of Ginger Snaps.
Yes, we like pro-woman stories, both of us. Okay, and we want to see good ones too. So if you don't want to hear about that negative in a negative context or with this film, don't listen. And if you don't want to hear big spoilers, which I can tell you the spoilers really aren't that big of a deal.
I will say this much, and this doesn't ruin the movie or give anything away. It's a movie that progressively gets worse.
Yes.
And the third act is by far the most poorly directed.
The climax is awful, rushed, awful set, location.
Which is funny because the original film has one of my favorite climaxes of all time.
No, it's one of the best ever.
And I looked forward to seeing that in this film.
It's pure cinema in the original Sleeping Beauty.
And this one is
a TV, CW.
It felt like a bad remake of the scene in Shrek where he's fighting the dragon.
But D. It's a D movie.
I would give it a D too.
Yeah, so D for dog shit. And
as a whole,
Angelina Jolie, good performance, some good visuals. Just get that out of the way. Some good stuff here. But some good stuff in your lump of shit. You know, if you put some gold in my shit, there's still a lump of shit.
But I do think that there's hope for the movie yet. If it's released in the 40 minutes, adds a lot.
Yes, I want an extended director's cut. Yes.
Yeah, because I'm still interested. There's so much I like in the movie.
Yes.
But as a whole, it's a D. This current incarnation.
There might be a salvageable film later.
I think that there's probably a C+ in there somewhere.
Yes, there might be a more watchable film, but as it stands now, worst film of 2014 so far. Major release. I haven't seen every film this year, obviously. Okay. Now we're going into spoilers. Fuck this movie. I don't know. This movie hates men. This is a sexist, insulting piece of shit. I am fucking pissed. No, I am. It's bullshit.
It's emotionally driven in that sense where it's trying to humanize Maleficent, who's originally more of a one-dimensional
character. And to do that, it has to hate men. It has to make men evil.
And what's the point of giving one person humanity by demonizing another.
No, it's awful. They make his character. They have a romance at the beginning, and he's complex. He doesn't kill her.
Mm-hmm.
They don't ever fucking address that. Once it comes back, he's just pure fucking evil.
He gets rid of his daughter because she's cursed and he can't take care of her.
She shows up, beautiful Ella Fanning, hasn't seen her dad. He's never even seen her for years, you know? She hugs him, and he's like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he imprisons her in the dungeon.
He can't show any affection because he's a man.
And this is Sharlto Copley. It's someone who can show depth. It's not a bad performance.
He's played these characters before. In District 9, he plays a three-dimensional character that's bad and good, but he's human.
Yeah, we're not talking about him. He's
no.
portrayal of the character. It's what's on screen, what he's given to do.
This is trying to do what Frozen does, where it's like, yeah, girls, they don't need boys. And at Frozen, we love. It's like, yeah, that's awesome.
And we love that message.
Yes. That movie has characters, though, and they make sense. But it shows the good
and bad side.
Yes.
It shows a guy who is there. It shows who girls good and bad.
Yes.
They're very human.
And it shows a real guy, too, is a good guy. He doesn't have to be a prince. In this film, though, he's bad. The Crow is really, like I said, he's just there for girls.
Yeah, he's just like visual fodder.
And he's just there to be like, she's awesome. She's awesome. She's awesome.
He's a slave.
Yeah, he's a slave to this
Maleficent.
woman. Now, let me ask you this. If this was a movie about, let's say, Merlin, and he had a female slave that got turned into an animal, and he was watching this prince.
And she was like in a bikini, very sexual.
And there was this queen, and the queen was this total bitch for no reason. And would you like this movie if you were a woman? Would you like that? Because I don't think you would. We don't like this. And
as a male, I would like to watch that.
Yeah, it'd be great. It's reverse sexism. That's my problem. Today in culture, men can't jump from, we can't say, hey, that's sexist. That offends us. Yeah. This offended me. I was very offended about this movie. And the most insulting thing when you realize what it is when it gets to the true love's kiss part.
Yeah.
That's when it crosses the line into just...
laughability.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when you just start laughing at the movie.
No, it's like
it's so predictable.
It's like somebody's trying to insult you, but they're too stupid to, so you just start laughing at them, and then it's just like, oh, he tried.
Well, you just want to be the bigger person and leave the theater.
basically, just because the boy's only been in a couple scenes, they get him for True Love's kiss, and he goes to kiss her. Big build-up. It's just like the old movie, has the light and everything. He's going to kiss her. Doesn't work. Her and Maleficent have this really good relationship now. Maleficent goes up, kisses her on the head. She wakes up. True love's kiss. And here's the thing. If that had been done in a really good movie, and they had switched...
You built the relationship.
Yes. If their relationship was more complex, and you understood everybody more, that'd be cool. This in this movie just seems like it was done because the guy couldn't kiss her, because if he kissed her and woke her up, that would mean she needed a man.
Yep.
So a woman had to come and kiss her so she could be okay.
And it's not just a thematic thing, or we're against that kind of message.
No, I'm not at all.
It's
just
bad
don't be
storytelling.
Yes.
That's what it boils down to.
And don't make it propaganda. It's feminist propaganda.
Very much so.
It's not story. They didn't put that in there to be a theme within the story of feminist message. They just put it in there to attack men, just to make feminists happy.
Well, it felt
the
like
wrong kind of feminist too. Not all feminists, but the kind who is just aggressive.
It felt like the executives were trying to come up with themes for the movie or something to build a hook off of.
Yeah.
And they got on Yahoo, like, what's popular today?
Yeah.
Yes, all women? Okay, we'll check that out.
No, it's like...
I made a movie out of it.
This is a BuzzFeed article movie equivalent of feminism, where it's like, just aggressive memes and GIFs about how men suck and stuff like that. And it's like...
it's caricature-esque.
Yes, and everything in it, everything that the characters do, they're compared to a man. Like, Maleficent, her motivations are based off her hatred towards a man. Sleeping Beauty's character, everything revolving around her revolves around men. It's
her getting her wings cut off is an allegory for rape, the taking of her purity, her natural form.
No, and this isn't us like projecting. It's very, and you could go read reviews. A lot of critics are saying this, female critics too. This is in the fucking film, and it's where like this is a D film, but for me it's like an F message film. It's like F for feminism, F for fuck you. That's and I really don't. We named all out, but really at the end, Maleficent has a big fight with his character, Sharlto Copley.
She gains her wings back. She takes a power from the male patriarch, king in the castle.
It's ridiculous. I mean, and you could say, what about movies where the male wins and the girls even so? It's like, well, I don't like those movies where girls are one-dimensional and the guy's just a hero. Or if I do, it's a good movie. It's like well written. The girl has her place, like in that movie. She serves the purpose as a character.
If it's schlock, I can accept that.
Yes.
But usually schlocky movies don't try to make a political message. This movie very much so does.
And it takes itself seriously. This movie doesn't have an ounce of humor.
Yeah, it's not really a movie where it's playing it up for laughs or it's tongue-in-cheek about it. It's very much, this is the philosophy of this story.
No, I mean, I honestly, I'm hurt because I got on Facebook after this came out, and I saw so many people posting, and not to direct, but a lot of girls especially were just like, oh, I saw Maleficent, it was great, I love the story and the message and stuff, and I just want to post like, see, like, sexist messages, you know, because like I said, if this was reversed, that would be said the other way. If this was if this was a woman as the crow or asleep as the prince and stuff, if this was the same movie but reversed, it'd be sexist in that way. It doesn't matter if it's a man or woman, it's just a sexist film on its own. It could be anything. That's what you don't get. The message is sexist. The characters don't matter.
How it's presented is sexist. It's not like them trying to kill her because she's different or anything like that is a bad statement to make about how you have to accept people for what they are.
Yeah, everyone's different.
But how it's presented is sexist, not what it's saying.
No.
But how it chooses to say it is discrimination.
No.
And very one-sided.
It's like they just wanted to make a fairy tale movie for a woman demographic, and to do that they just said, you know, fuck the men, and
no guy's gonna watch this movie unless he's taking his girlfriend.
Yeah, that's, I mean, and you know, it's that I would have enjoyed this movie. We both want to enjoy this movie, and, you know, we didn't like it as a movie, but I do think a lot of that's just that the scenes are missing, and you know, producers at Disney, and
but there's a lot of things that it was a watchable movie for the most part.
Yes.
It's just that it's very convoluted.
No, and about halfway through, I just wanted
it falls apart.
Yeah, it's like
you lose interest because you know it's going nowhere.
No, it's just like I said. There's just scenes without context.
It's like you're listening to somebody tell you a story, and the further it goes along, the more you realize this doesn't have a point. They're just talking to talk.
But yeah, I you know, like I said, I don't want anyone to think like it's just like we hate feminism or something. This movie pisses me off. This movie is really insulting and sexist. As a man, I'm offended. As a film critic, I'm offended.
It's about the responsibility that an artist or a storyteller has to approach a certain topic, and you need to handle it
as a company like Disney has a responsibility to when
because children watch.
Yes, young girls are going to see this movie and boys, and they're going to have this impressed on them, and it's not a good message.
Yeah, because the world and especially cinema shouldn't be about man versus woman.
No,
or woman versus man. It should be about different people.
Why
working
create
together.
Hate just for the sake of hate to have a message?
Because it sells movie tickets. It gets people to rally up and say, "Hey, women, let's go see this movie."
Because Frozen, what's great about it is that at the end is very optimistic. It doesn't create hate. It becomes a very humanist story. Yeah. That everybody has flaws and pluses, and we all have to learn lessons in life and grow.
But morals like this keep discrimination alive by saying you're different than a man. Yes. Which is true. Men and women are fundamentally different.
Yeah, there's biology.
But you shouldn't treat them differently.
No.
You shouldn't see
You shouldn't treat a black person different, a gay person. Everybody should be treated. If this was like an anti-gay film or anything like that, it would be just as bad. This is an anti-man film. That's what this is. Yeah. There's a group, white, privileged males are the demographic that this movie's attacking, you know, and it's
white, privileged South African males.
Yeah, yes, South African. But
the real oppressors.
I mean, I don't want to make this review too long, but I will just say that it was. There really isn't much to talk about because it's a very simple movie. But at the end of the day, it's insulting. It's dull. It's a mess, and it doesn't leave much of an impression.
Really, it's just not much of an enjoyable movie.
No.
And it doesn't stick with you.
No.
I mean, I would say go see it if you're bored.
We saw it yesterday, and I already kind of forgot.
Yeah, I forgot what we were reviewing before we began.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Maleficent. Yeah. But yeah, I'm Angelina Jolie even signing up to this and stuff is kind of insulting to me. It's very. I don't know if she knew.
The thing is, 40 minutes was cut. They filmed that, and that could have really.
No, that might have fleshed out this message.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this current cut of the film's sexist. I'm not saying like those 40 minutes might flesh it all out and make more sense. But the problem is that the characters aren't three-dimensional, so they're so to the point that it just makes the man evil to be evil. It really does. And you're going to say, oh, it gets developed. If you think that, you have a very simplistic view on movies and stories. I'm sorry. This movie does not earn any character beat or moment. It just throws them at you. And it doesn't develop it. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. This is not good storytelling.
It unravels.
Yeah.
Because the characters kind of begin more complex than they end.
No, it's funny.
Maleficent and Kruger.
Yeah, I can't even remember his name.
Sleeping Beauty.
They become
more one-dimensional as the film progresses, and
no, it's sad too because the setup with them, they have this romance and stuff. It's when that took that turn, I was so like, oh, this could really be in it. There's conflict.
Also, the theme of Maleficent thinking there's no such thing as true love, in a romantic sense because she was wronged, and then taking care of a younger girl who reminds her of herself in some way, despite being her former paramour's daughter, who she cursed, and she has to learn to realize that you can love people.
No, all that could have been really
It could have been an
beautiful
anti-discrimination movie about how you can't let someone's parents' action or their lineage affect you.
And see, that message is universal. Everyone can relate to that.
And it should have focused on that if that was the angle they should have taken, which is still stupid.
No, it even ends very stupid.
In this film,
like, it's stupid, colorful, happy ending of Maleficent and her about to make out, it seems, and everything's like...
Well, that is a happy end.
Yeah.
No, that was brilliant.
Yeah. For the first time in forever. But, yeah, I don't know, say, like, Disney, like, wow. If this is what's Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast, it's going to be I don't want these fucking movies. Like, these are, this is, if you're just going to make this propaganda, childish bullshit.
I mean, I think Oz the Great and Powerful is a huge step up from Alice in Wonderland, but this film is probably worse than either of them.
No, it is.
In a lot of ways.
No, it's bad for the world.
I mean, I'd much rather watch this than Underland any day. But as a film, I think it's much more poorly constructed.
Yes, and you could tell the director isn't much of a storyteller. He just knows how to shoot pretty things, and it's always engaging visually. But that doesn't make a movie.
Well, this is poorly edited.
It's
more
awful
than directed.
Yeah,
I think the climax is very horribly directed. It looks very digital.
Yeah, I know.
And the cuts are very strange. But
yeah, to summarize though, like if you go see
nice cohesiveness.
If you go see this movie and you like it, and you want to attack it, I don't want to hear your side. I really I'm very offended. It's
all I would say to anybody who goes to this movie and enjoys it is to go home and look in the mirror and look very closely in your own eyes, and you'll probably notice that they're crossed and that you have some sort of mental issue.
Yeah, no, this is a bad movie, and it's about bad people. It's made by bad people. This is a bad message, and they ruined a great character. They forced a message in here that is not handled with any kind of nuance. They waste talent just throughout this whole thing.
Money.
They just waste money.
You think about the kind of money put into a film like this and what it could be done in the world.
And they could produce so many...
how many small films
indie
made
films, by talented filmmakers.
It's easily, I think I can say, the worst thing to happen since the shooting of Martin Luther King.
No, it definitely is.
Actually, I take that back. It's worse.
Yeah, no, this is much, much worse than that. So, yeah, Maleficent, don't see it, please. Please don't see this movie.
Or if you do, don't watch it. Don't pay for it.
Yeah, download it online.
Yeah, don't have your friends pay for it either.
Yeah, I'm not endorsing this at all.
Yeah, watch the movie, see your own make your own opinion.
And if you have rebuttals to what we're saying at some level, you can give me
keep it to yourself.
Yeah, it is kind of...
We don't care.
Yeah. I mean, you can say what you want, but just know there's respect. I'm not attacking anyone. We're attacking the movie. I'm not attacking anything. I hate this movie and its message. But, yeah, it's a piece of shit.
So after discussing it, has your opinion changed at all? Or are you going to grade it finally, in conclusion?
I think I like it. I think it's a D- now. I think it dropped down.
I'm going to give it an A-.
Yeah, it's kind of...
I kind of turned around on it.
I think Criterion might be releasing the DVD in a couple weeks.
Me too, the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick it up. It's just pictures of horns with the white background.
Yeah, she did... No, I was waiting for that scene where she just stabs the horns into the man in the movie.
See, that'd be cool.
No, she impales her. In
the dick.